Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video. This is going to be the long-awaited continuation of the lore series. I deeply apologise for just how delayed this is. I'm going to begin by giving you an update to the timeline. If you are not sure where we are, please do watch the previous video on this lore series because that is going to be very helpful in catching you up to speed because I'm not going to recap it. We're in 2035. And basically everything that is happening in the game, in world, is happening in chronological order. So there has not been the turnover of a year. As of yet, we are in 2035. There is an excavator attack that causes a 1,000-kilometer diameter dome to appear in Europe, a territory now completely controlled by the excavators. And this dome is opaque, so no one can see what is going on inside. There is some sort of operation in Normandy to recapture this so-called sacred land, and during the preparation of this mission, a huge shadow is spotted approaching the Cyprus base. So this is from set 1, and this is setting up what will be happening. Also in set 1, the Omajan Front troops are planning a visit to the imperial capital and are transported to the territory of Vasterus Rex. Everything that wasn't magic-based stops working, and it is worth noting that Captain Yamada cannot use magic, but he is also unaffected by it. He's known as a displacer. And just as a reminder, the events of set 2 to 4 all take place in this year, very much around the same time. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and talk about what happens in set 2. Talking about Volnar. We get a little bit of history here. Volnar used to be ruled by dragons, but they were wiped out by an unknown enemy. We have no further information on that. We also know that south of the Weskalot Empire, which is the biggest empire in Volnar, lies the Wild Kingdom, and this is ruled by beasts. We know that the expeditionary force is faced with constant combat encounters from the moment they arrive, and that somehow Shiori, Yamada, and the rest are able to survive and find Melror's dungeon. We are told that Melror writes a program to allow Yamada to use an experimental weapon. We are not told what this experimental weapon is, but I assure you we will be seeing it. We also know that at this time, Guns and Gold is working on a special suit of armour for Vasterus Rex. So that's what happens from the Volnar side. Turning to Atlas, we are told that the Great Beast, which is the legend Tome Mega Therion, attacks the Cyprus base. As a result, Operation Domebreaker, that's what it was called, to recapture the sacred land, is put on hold. We are also told that Jake is gifted Essence Energy, that the Zoo Brigade has been rooting out the excavators from the Earth's jungles, as there appear to be attacks coming from the jungles as well. We know around this time, the zombie apocalypse also kicks off, so this is the events that sort of transpire within the starter deck zombie apocalypse, and this is the release of a zombie virus in New York transferred by AiboYT. We're told that the virus was introduced in New York 3 years ago, but was contained by Captain Liberty and the others, various other superheroes, but New Tech kept a sample, and that sample has obviously been released, leading to a zombie apocalypse. Turning to Yomajan Front, we are told that Daijinki fuses Volnar magic with Yomajan tech, and this is Daijinki who has not yet completed the previous year but is now nearing completion. We're told that Cthulhu was far too powerful to be defeated by Gashadokuro, but Daijinki was able to be completed and arrive in the nick of time to provide backup in the Battle of Tokyo, and that was mentioned in the Set 1 lore review. We are told that there will be 8 Ikazuchi models, and we've seen most of them already. And we're told that the seal on the Jigoku is soon going to shatter completely. Finally, we are told that Yamada's expedition, and Yamada is from Yomajan Front, left with 2 secret weapons, Dani and Tsukikage. So I think we all can, if you've been paying attention to Set 4, you can probably see where that Tsukikage is going, but that's for the future. Finally, we turn to Wonderverse, and we are told that Jenny Barbie leads the 6th squad of the Crime Lords, that Heady Headhunter is trying to steal the Holy Grail, and that a movie called The Futuristic Four, made about Ed and his party, is actually a secretly filmed version of the party fighting in the Well of the Year. So the Crime Lords essentially filmed this and ripped them off and put it in theatres to fund their efforts to catch them. We're told that Yurei starts following Adriano, and then we're also told that the top Shadow Hand agent is from Earth. Whether or not this will have any future relevance remains to be seen. And finally, we are told that the space cave actually connects to Volnar. So that is a summary of the information and little tidbits we got in set 2. Moving on to set 3 now. And set 3 is a little bit more chunky in terms of what it gives us. So we are told, turning to Volnar, that Loki resides at the bottom of the Ark in Atlas, and all the Regenleaf have seen him to gain special powers. Now it seems that Loki is a member of Volnar, though this is not really confirmed. We're told that the surviving ancient dragons from the previous set, where we were told about those, they rebuilt the world, but they did not allow themselves to die as they knew they would be needed again, potential foreshadowing there for a bigger dragon support set. We're told that the Imagine Expeditionary Force need to travel through the Land of Time's End. However, thanks to Yamada being unaffected by magic, they are able to pass through it unhindered by its memory manipulation. This ends up being very important in allowing them to actually escape. Having confirmed that for some reason Vastress has left his lair, the Expeditionary Force break into his temple to make use of the shortest path to the Westcalot Empire. So they have successfully left Melror's place, battled through, made it to the temple. Unfortunately, they are attacked by High Priest Zoa whilst in the temple, whose magic is called the Soul Grinder Hex, and it causes the user's soul to attack them. However, Yamada, being the absolute cheat code that he is, has no magic, and therefore is unaffected by this. That's where set 3 ends off. That is resolved relatively in set 4. Atlas. Midas has developed a set of armor for Vastress that allows him to focus his powers as he chooses. So Vastress' issue was basically anything that got close to him turned to dust, but this has clearly been solved by Midas. Vastress arrives from Volnar through the Abyss Gate in his new armor and swiftly destroys the great beast attacking Cyprus base in a show of power, allowing Midas to get some more funding from the world governments. That man is truly built different. Through the combined efforts of Yamajan Front and Atlas, the zombie apocalypse is contained, but New York has to be sealed off by a giant wall. Shout-outs to Donald Trump. In response to the third Battle of Tokyo, the zombie apocalypse in New York, and the attack on Cyprus base, humans have begun to evolve into ascendants. So what this means is humans are spontaneously developing power as a response to the increased threat that they face. Turning now to Imagine Front, not much here. The yokai, led by Akugoro, are recruited to help in the third Battle of Tokyo, so obviously that happens a little bit before. And unfortunately, during the battle, Gashidokuro is destroyed. This happens when it tries to fight Cthulhu and fails. Hono Ikazuchi and Saka Ikazuchi are severely damaged in this third Battle of Tokyo. Finally, turning to Wonderverse, the Biocore consists of wild animals that were made into cyborgs. They protect planets and wildlife from being exploited, and they use the plants on these planets to mass-produce medication and sell it cheaply on the black market. Capo Coup d'Etat is mass-producing clones of Malevolus. As to why, no one seems to know. Moving into the events that are happening, Black Antlion ambushes Ed and the gang. Ed's ship Volocto is immobilized by Black Antlion, leading to a dogfight on the space bike. Hedy tries to steal the cosmic relics from the engine room in the Volocto while this is happening, but the goddess appears and gives him 2 swords, saying, "Go forth and save your friends." Ed is dying, but tells Adriano to head to the engine room to seize the power of Space King Arthur, confirming that Ed is in fact Space King Arthur. And finally, moving on to set 4, a lot of these plot lines are beginning to be wrapped up here, and a lot is happening in Volnar. Firstly, though, we're told in the north, Zyreg at some point in the past encounters Zakitor and becomes his follower. Melror is trying to build a VR version of Akihabara in Volnar because he's a gigantic otaku apparently. The Death Shades are trying to bring about the birth of the promised child. We are not told who that is or what that is. Hedy has been tasked by Azariah to bring Excalibur to Yamada. How this happens will be expounded upon shortly. He arrives in Volnar and recruits Paula and others to help him find Yamada. Death Shades have attacked Volnar at this time as well. We're also told that Johan wants to extract Essence Energy and Jake has been gifted it previously. So if you remember, in set 2, Jake was gifted this essence energy. So these two childhood friends may be about to take a pretty dark turn in their friendship. We see Yamada beat the ever-loving shit out of Zoa, but unfortunately Zoa was able to stall the expeditionary force long enough for Vasterus to return. In the nick of time, Hedy makes it and gives Yamada Excalibur. Yamada then equips his secret weapon that was very much experimental and uses Excalibur and is able to attack and severely wound Rex. Rex therefore enters a deep sleep and is protected by the Dark Knights. And the reason Yamada is able to defeat Rex is because Excalibur is unaffected by Rex's aging magic, and as we know, Yamada is also unaffected by all forms of magic. Meanwhile, in Atlas, we are told that Zamai was made out of the great beast, Tomegatherion, by Guns and Gold, so obviously Midas truly just vibing. We're also told that Alice fought 12 robots themed on cards, defeated 11, and recruited 1, and that 1 is the Queen of Hearts. Over to Yo Margin, we are told that Gasha Dokuro is revived as Gasha Dokuro Mark II, and of course Yamada activated the experimental weapon, the Tsukikage armor, to defeat Vasterus Rex. In Wonderverse, we are told that Adriano leaps into the Holy Grail and transforms into Arthur Adriano, the most broken card in the game. Hedy accidentally drops Excalibur, causing Black Antler and Spaceship to implode into a black hole. Hedy is then sucked into this black hole with the other Excalibur and ends up basically being transported to see Azariah, who Azariah then basically goes, boss, could you just take this sword and send it over to Yamada? So that's how Hedy ends up in Volnar. Ed's ship is destroyed in this fight, and a new one called Vel Ennius is made, and the gang sets off to try and find where their friend Hedy Headhunter has ended up. And finally, from the Excavator section, there's usually not much lore in terms of the Excavator section, we are told that Honoi Kazuchi and Aramisaki together defeated Hasta. So there we go, that is our rundown of the lore from set 2 to set 4. As you can see, the lore per set has been significantly more condensed than in set 1, much more of current events ongoing, and we can see that there's we're very much reaching the end of these initial plot threads, and we're probably going to see a few things coming together. I would expect in the near future to see the Expeditionary Force make it to the Westclot Empire, to potentially see some shenanigans as the gang tries to find Hedy, and at this point I would expect in set 5 there to be a significant focus on attempting to actually carry out Operation Domebreaker. But there we go, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. I hope you're looking forward to the set 5 lore video. I promise that one will be out when we get set 5. I will not wait like a year. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.